Hi everybody, welcome back. Thanks for joining me for another royal news video. Now you might be able to tell, yes, I've got a stinking rotten cold again. My immune system this year can take a running jump. Honestly, what frustrates me the most is those of you that have known me for years. This time last year, I was like 3 stone heavier. I have now lost so much weight and I work out at the gym. I've got a personal trainer. I've started running again. Last week, I cleared my first 5K. I got my little certificate. Very happy with myself. This weekend, I booked for a romantic weekend away with my husband, staying at a boathouse on Hayling Island. Looks gorgeous, doesn't it? We got hit by a storm and I got hit by this. It's clear to me that my immune system is struggling with the newer, healthier me, that's for certain. Right, so let's get away from me being sick and having a rant because I'm very frustrated. My romantic weekend away didn't turn out to be so romantic, as you can imagine. But we have had a lot of news that has come out, and this video, Trailer Trash, is to do with 2 documentaries that are coming out. Now, first of all, we have finally had the trailer drop for Polo, Harry's Netflix spectacular event to do with one of the most elitist sports in the world has dropped. Now, there is no sign of Harry and Meghan in the trailer. Harry's pal, Nacho, he's in it. I can't help but see that. He's Nacho Friend. He's my friend. He is Nacho Figueres. He is the Argentinian polo player. And he is also one of Harry's last remaining and surviving friends. I say surviving because they survived the cull of Meghan, but then I suppose Nacho and his wife Delphina had a lot of connections that could come in useful at some point. But often listed as the brother from another mother, Harry and Nacho have been very close for a number of years. Reportedly, the 6-part docu-series is based around him. He has given exclusive access to his friends and to his lifestyle. Maybe it's a little bit of a payment for the fact that he tried to help promote Meghan's jam with one of the cheesiest and cringiest posts I've ever seen in my life. Sorry, it still gives me the ick. Did I tell you I love your jam? Blah. Now, of course, just because Harry and Meghan weren't in the trailer doesn't mean that they haven't plastered their names and their titles all over it in the hugest font possible. Executive producers, Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, just in case anybody forgot that those two had royal titles. Now, as for those two being executive producers, I'm struggling to believe that for a second because they are normally responsible for things such as securing the funding for projects, negotiating contracts, hiring the film crew and the sound crew, managing the budget, reviewing all the final cuts, developing marketing strategies. Does that sound like anything that Harry and Meghan do, given their work ethic that they've even admitted to, 1 hour a week at Archwell, the bare minimum to make sure that they got their director's dividends? Now, that being said, obviously, I do think that Meghan would have had some sort of creative influence over this because this can't just be Harry's idea. The sort of ideas that Harry was throwing around, he was laughed at by the Spotify executive, wasn't he? Where he turned around and said Harry wanted to, interview Vladimir Putin to do with his childhood traumas. I mean, can you imagine the stuff that has been thrown in the ring by Harry and Meghan? And Netflix, desperate to get something, anything, thought, well, this is the best of a bad bunch. But the fact that I think Meghan's had some sort of creative influence over it is because it just looks like a cheesy, fake, scripted reality TV show. Something like the Real Housewives or The Bachelor. You know, they're pretending it's not scripted, but quite clearly, you know it is.
It's a sexy sport too. Dirty, sweaty boys, riding.
That snippet alone should tell you the classy direction of which they have decided to go in for the show. The super rich talking about the hardships and the sacrifices that they have to make for their careers, even one being forced to leave his pregnant wife behind, make it sound like that they are going to war fighting for their country. And even when they announce that the biggest story is father and son having to compete against each other, the backdrop is just pure wealth. Helicopters, sports cars, mansions, the horses alone costing the tens and thousands. This is an elitist sport. It is where the rich play and the women flock, hoping to snag one, just like we see the girls running round after footballers in the UK, hoping desperately that they can one day become a wag. It looks completely vapid, completely self-absorbed. They had music playing in the background and it would rival a serious epic war film. The build up to it where it says, "For legacy, for courage, for glory." You expect Mel Gibson to come screaming out for freedom. Honestly, it's ridiculous. It had me rolling my eyes into the back of my head. And at the moment, that hurt quite a lot. Now, I think back to 2020, yes, many moons ago it would seem, and I remember Harry and Meghan talking about the commitment that they were making to producing content. And I will quote this for you for some of you that need a reminder. "Our focus will be on creating content that informs, but also gives hope. As new parents, making inspirational family programming is also important to us. Netflix's unprecedented reach will help us share impactful content that unlocks action."
It's a sexy sport too. Dirty, sweaty boys.
You can't do that when someone is pregnant.
Because at the end of the day, I have to win.
How's that for inspirational family programming for you? Something to sit there with the little ones, snuggled up on the sofa and to learn about Polo. How very educational and moving indeed. Now, obviously, there will be a market for this type of show because there has always been a market of reality TV, but that's the problem. This isn't exactly a niche area of the market that no one's ever thought about before. From the Kardashians, The Bachelor, Real Housewives, The Only Way is Essex, it's the same sort of staged, managed, scripted nonsense. And for it to be about such an elitist sport, which involves a heavy amount of animal cruelty, that's not going to go down very well either. PETA have got involved and they are telling people to boycott it. Polo is known for being a particularly cruel sport to the ponies because they have to endure such extreme travel conditions because they're being flown all around the world. They also have to play a lot of the time in scorching temperatures. They are played under duress and stress. Polo horses can suffer from pulmonary hemorrhages, they can suffer heat stroke, they get tendon injuries, and they also end up with a lot of back and neck injuries because at the speed of which they run, which are high speeds up to 35 miles per hour, if the rider suddenly decides the ball's gone in the other direction, they yank the reins and quickly whip the horse's head round at an unnatural direction. This is a very hard sport on the ponies. And this, of course, has then reminded everybody of Harry's treatment of a couple of horses himself when he was younger. He once spurred his horse so badly it was bleeding and he still continued to play her. And then there was also another incident where Harry, against advisement, decided that he was still going to play on a pregnant mare. She had a stroke, she died, as did the foal. So Harry cannot say anything to do with animal cruelty. Then, of course, you've got the utter hypocrisy. The fact that these men and women fly around from tournament to tournament, going to which country's got the best weather in their private jets, their helicopters, their sports cars, and then obviously flying around the ponies. Can you imagine the carbon footprint that this particular sport has? Yet Harry, the next opportunity he's got to preach at the UN about how the planet's on fire, he's not going to be thinking about him, his mode of transport, or that of some of his friends. So no, I don't think that this show is going to do particularly well. If the trailer is anything to go by, it's going to be a massive flop, I believe. If you look at the number of people that liked it compared to the people that don't like it, that's a pretty bad percentage. Now, moving away from the Polo documentary, let's talk about the German documentary that earlier in the year it was announced that filmmaker Ulrike Grunwald had done an exposé on Harry and Meghan, and skeletons were going to be falling out of her closet. Because the exposé was supposed to be not only about their life since they've left the royal family and what they really get up to in California, it was also rumoured to be about Meghan's life before Harry. Bombshell revelations, we were told, were soon to be coming out about the couple. Meghan having an exposé done on her reportedly left her fearful because she couldn't take any more besmirching of her fair and good name. Then in July this year, after all of the fanfare that this was meant to be coming out, we were told, wait, it's been put on hold. The director posted on her Instagram, the documentary about Harry and Meghan was to wait as research is still underway. Another statement came out and said that the programme had been briefly delayed due to legal concerns. Producers had to fact check and verify details of her past. Now, I found that strange at the time because surely if you're going to do an expose on someone, you wouldn't announce it and then go, oh, wait, we better fact check this stuff. So lots of people were led to believe at the time that Meghan and Harry had gone not so fast, get their lawyers on it and basically try and wipe anything negative about them off the map. We know that Harry and Meghan like to control the narrative. We also know that they are more than happy, trigger happy, to sue anyone. Again, we were told that Meghan and Harry's team were reportedly concerned over the documentary and about what details could emerge. Well, fast forward to November, and this show has been completely rewritten, redesigned, if you believe the blurb that's now coming out about it. We've had a release date of December the 3rd. It will be aired at 8:15 p.m. The documentary is called Harry, the Lost Prince. The show is now delving into Harry's ongoing search for a meaningful existence and how the royal family coped after Megxit, the Queen's death, and the King and Catherine having cancer. Well, that's a bit of a shift, isn't it? Instead of Meghan trying to stuff the skeletons back into the closet quicker than they can fall out, this is now apparently to do with how the royal family are coping without their two stars that left. It's now to be about how Harry struggled being Prince William's reserve and his commitment to his charitable endeavours in California. Well, that sounds like a completely different show altogether. I honestly had to check, maybe she's filming two shows, but no, this is the main show. Harry, the Lost Prince, will look into one of the most heartbreaking periods of the royal family's life since the abdication. What total bollocks is that? Losing the Queen and Prince Philip? Oh, absolutely devastating time for the royal family. The King and Catherine being diagnosed with cancer? Yes, absolutely heartbreaking. Harry and Meghan quitting the royal family, doing a smash and grab with their titles. That was the best thing that could possibly happen to the royal family, in all honesty. We've heard about their treatment of not just members of the royal family, but how they were terrorising the staff, Meghan especially. I can't imagine that there were many tears when they said that they were going. Those two have done nothing but come across as self-indulgent, greedy narcissists that have sold their family down the river for 30 pieces of silver. I think everybody said goodbye, good luck, good riddance. So already you're seeing how it was marketed and now it's actually hitting the screens. It's a very different kettle of fish. And not only that, you've got to remember that the director had direct access to Harry and Meghan at the Germany Invictus Games. She went and interviewed them for this documentary. And she said, they have been holding hands, cheering competitors on at various matches and games. They seem intimate and very close. Either that or they are very good actors. From where I've been watching, they seem very much in love. Well, as you guys know, many of us YouTubers and other people on social media have been talking about the photographs and the video clips and the images that came out with Harry and Meghan at the Dusseldorf Games. Yes, Harry and Meghan have a very different loved up persona when they know the cameras are on them. But when they don't realise the cameras are on them, those two have a very, very different relationship. Plus, you have to think that Harry and Meghan would only agree to do an interview with anyone as long as the coverage was legally binding and 100% positive. You only have to look at the fact that they took Harper's Bazaar, their one person that had to feed the reports out of Colombia, to everyone else. And it was always sickly sweet and all the video clips were muted so no one could really hear what was going on in the background. Harry and Meghan run a tight ship when it comes to controlling the narrative. So people are asking the question, why the total shift? Did the lawyers really get hold of this filmmaker and threaten her within an inch of her life of a major lawsuit that could tear down her career? Or was it always just a clever bit of marketing to get people interested in watching the show? So many more people now from when Meghan first came on the scene have now paid attention to how Meghan got into the royal family as quickly as she did. Meghan set up a very careful web social networking using Soho House, using Marcus Anderson, Mission Nunu, Princess Eugenie. She really did, like a black widow spider, she laid the perfect trap for Harry. And you've only got to think back of when she was like, oh, I didn't really know who the royals were. That turns out she was completely obsessed with Princess Diana. Oh, she had no interest in anything to do with the royals. She literally wrote about Catherine and William's wedding, with Prince Harry being the best man, on her blog, The Tig. Meghan said that she didn't know that she had to curtsy. We've obviously seen her curtsy when she was a little girl. Oh, no, wait, she actually got other people to curtsy to her. And then as an adult, it became a shock that the British royal family, the monarch of the British royal family, she might have to curtsy to. And then the only thing she asked about Harry, because the only thing she cared about in one of the many versions of how they actually started courting and dating, when they met, where they met, how they met, Meghan said, I just wanted to know if he was kind. Bullshit. It's obvious that she spun a very clever web to catch the fly. So, of course, an expose on the woman who lied her way into the British royal family and then tried to destroy them would garner interest. But in reality, guys, I hate to break it to you, I think we are going to be having another story of Harry and Meghan's tales of hardships and woes and what they had to endure when they were briefly working royals in the UK. I think that they have done a clever marketing ploy trying to say that they are finally going to be exposing Meghan for the things that she got up to. And I'm sorry, I'm just not seeing it happening. Now, obviously, I am going to watch the documentary, so you guys don't have to. That's fair, because, you know, I might be shocked, but I just find the timing of this, especially coming out a few days before the Princess of Wales films her together at Christmas, the big Royal Christmas Carol concert, I find it yet again a bit all too convenient, as I do the fact that it was meant to be an expose on Harry and Meghan, and now it's this poor little boy lost story, Harry the Lost Prince. I don't think he's lost. I think he is exactly where he deserves to be, with the person he deserves to be with. As many people say, he's made his bed and now he has to lay in it. Now, speaking of Christmas, join me tomorrow for my next video called No Santa Baby. It is the season after all, and I think it's time we talk about who's gonna be on the naughty and nice lists. Take care for now, and I will see you soon. Bye.